Connor, congratulations on a great day today. Now that you've had some time to process it and let the dust kind of settle, where's your head at right now? What are you thinking?
I'm excited. I'm incredibly proud of all the work that's gone into this. All the people who've helped me get to this point. Could not have done it without them. I'm thankful for God, thankful for my amazing parents and siblings, and for my coach who couldn't be here today, but I'm very thankful for you, Cam.
When I spoke with you right after deadlifts, you were just in awe about how much work had gone into this. How did you specifically approach today's contest when it comes to training and programming? What went into today's performance?
So going into today, I knew that I was going to be going against two guys primarily who were big subtotal guys, and they were going to be able to put some massive numbers up. So I think going into squat and bench was to get the most out of it that we could and put ourselves in a position to be able to pull for the win, and we were able to get it done.
So I know you watched the preview show, and I know you said you were going to upset the predictions. So how does it feel to be the underdog and have pulled this off?
Feels pretty good. Loved the show, loved it very much, but I felt pretty motivated. I was like, man, they don't even know. So felt very excited to be able to come out here and prove it today, and was able to execute just the way I wanted and got it done.
So with Worlds on the horizon, are you planning to change your training at all, or is it going to stay mostly the same?
I think we're going to work towards really pushing the numbers. I think today went very well, but I know that there's going to be potential for a lot more. Going to be really gunning for a bigger squat, really pushing those squat numbers to be more competitive on a global scale, and be able to squeeze out as much as I can on bench, and hope that whatever I need to do on deadlifts, I'm going to be able to pull it whenever I need to.
And do you have any specific goals for Worlds, or do you have any athletes that you have your eyes on as far as like competition? Do you watch that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think going into Worlds, it's going to be a talented roster. 83s always is. Love the competitiveness of the weight class, but the goal at Worlds is going to be doing whatever I have to do on the platform in order to win. Strategize the way I want to, plan the numbers that I need to, and execute perfectly and bring home a gold for the USA.
Thanks, Connor. Coach?
Connor, congratulations. Obviously, you went 9 for 9. Could you just maybe elaborate on your attempt selection? Was it kind of what you projected, or did you have to kind of make adjustments with kind of based on the competition, or just how you felt today?
So going into squats, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to get. At my last meet, I had a pretty poor performance, failing 535, which is just barely more than what I opened with. So going into squat, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to get. So I decided we'll start with a number that I know I can hit very easily, which I've hit in my training, and push it as hard as I can. And on my second attempt, went up another 10 kilo, and it moved well enough for me to be confident adding more on top of that and hitting a number that was more than I had anticipated being on the plate for the day. But after doing it, I felt confident, and I felt like I maybe even had a little more. So after the unfortunate events of squat, my strategy kind of changed. Going into bench, I knew going into this competition that I was going to need to squeeze whatever I could out of bench, and just take any number that I could get confidently, and then get ready for deadlift. And that was more or less the same. But going into deadlift, I changed my strategy. I was planning on going for a national record on the second attempt, but seeing first place in front of me, decided that I'll play it a little bit safer, make sure I nail the numbers that I hit, and then maybe go for it on a third, which is what I ended up doing. Followed a lot of my game plan all the way through squats, but unfortunately due to the events that happened to Ken, who as a fantastic lifter and competitor, I changed my strategy in order to work around that and put myself in a position to win the events.
Awesome. Congratulations again. Excellent day. Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, we've got the legendary Layne Norton. Congratulations, and his coach, Ben Escrow. First of all, Layne, you just want to talk about what it means to win back-to-back national championships?
That was fun, huh? I think I have a pretty unique perspective on lifting. Like, it's funny, I was telling the story of my first national title, open national title in 2014, coming into nationals, not really realizing what a big deal it was, and doing that. I always say, like, after I pulled for my first national title win, I was like, screw this bodybuilding stuff. This is way better, And, like, going through all the injuries I've had and, like, the pain that I've had to deal with and, like, working back up, whether it was nationals last year, worlds, or this year, I'm just so grateful to be here. Like, honestly, I'm the happiest guy out there. I mean, I know I get fired up and, like, yell and stuff, but he knows, like, I'm just so happy to be here.
And then take us through the day. I mean, you had a hell of a day today. You had a fierce competitor that you went against, and you showed out. So just take us through, how things played out today.
Yeah, how many years did I take off your life today?
I mean, I'm good. It definitely makes the whole thing interesting, but there was a bit of stress. I mean, we were a bit stressed today, but that's what you want.
Yeah. So I missed the opener on squat, which I don't think that's ever happened to me before.
Yeah.
We felt that depth was there, but I mean, that's how it goes sometimes, and you just have to make the adjustment. And I think, one of the things that, Ben and I working together as game day for so long, we just have that trust, I know Ben's not going to put anything on the bar that I can't do. And he knows I'm not going to tell him I've got something that I don't. So when we get to the second attempt, he says, well, do you want to take that over or do you want to jump? And I just know with Mike having a strong squat and pretty much being a strong overall lifter, that if I let it get too far out of the way, it was going to be too big for me to jump on my third, and it was going to put me in a position where I was going to have to chase. And I really didn't want to have to chase because then you kind of get off your game plan. So I said, I felt plenty strong. I'll bury the second one. We'll get on the board, and then let's move forward. So hit the second one, hit the third one. Not the third squat that we had planned, but still, within 5 kilos, still put a good number up, and we were down 10 kilos heading out of squat, which we planned to be down heading out of squat. And then bench went 3 for 3. That went really well, pulled us to within 2.5. And then on deadlift, I just felt like today, like I just had whatever was in the tank to win. I mean, I don't know. You're my coach. You're my game day coach. Just so give a shout out. Zach Robinson has done my programming. But what did you think my top end was today? Because we put in 325.5. I felt like I might have had that in me if I really needed it.
Yeah, my initial instinct, which typically I always fall back to, was 318, was 10 kilos. Now, knowing you, I mean, the reality is I never count Layne out. I've known him for 20 years, and he just can't do it. And I think you make a mistake if you do. So when I hear you say that, I have to actually take that as a serious thing, whereas some people can just throw out numbers and like, oh, I can lift anything today. I think it's certainly it's impossible for me to say no, because obviously after things like Finland with the squat and everything, I've seen you do those miraculous things. I've said I've seen you pull a rabbit out from where before, so I can't count that out. So, but yeah, I think my initial instinct was 318.
Yeah, well, and I think like full credit to Mike. He had a great meet. Absolutely pushed me, and honestly, like when I saw him signed up, I'm like, this is what you want.
Yeah.
It's not like it's fun to win always, but it's way more fun to have somebody pushing you, going neck and neck. And after we got out of squats, I'm like, yeah, it's going to come down to the third deadlift. Like, I knew it. And, he had a great meet. I think he went 7 for 9, which is a good meet. And, I think, I really appreciate it. After squats, Ben walks up, he goes, I don't care what happened. Like, I'm so proud of you for coming back and hitting those squats. And I think, like, one thing I'll say that I always have in my pocket is I don't really get rattled from, like, things that happen that, like, don't go according to plan. It's just like, okay, that happens and you can stew on it, or, like, what's the next thing I can do? And just focus on that. And that's always served me well, and served me well today. And, I had so much fun. I mean, I'm back there yelling and screaming, but I tell people, I'm like, people think I'm angry. I'm like, I'm not angry. I am so fired up to be here, and it's just so much fun.
So, obviously, with Worlds on the horizon, do you see anything changing in terms of your programming or your game day strategy going forward? Do you have your eye on anyone at the world level, and do you have any goals for Worlds?
I'll let you take the game day strategy.
Yeah, it's tough because I think you can project out theoretical things just like we did today. And I think what was interesting is, all the theoreticals we kind of had of Mike was lower because, he opened with a lot of his third attempts today, or was very close to them. So it definitely makes you have to be quick on your feet and good on your feet to kind of adjust. So I think at this point it's tough to say, but I think, I don't do his programming. Zach from Data Driven does, and they're great, and I fully trust them, and I love working with them too. So I think for him, it's just got to bring his best self and be prepared for the worst possible battle. And even when I'm programming for people, I do the same thing. Is you just got to be over prepared, because I think you get to see who's swimming with their pants down when the tide goes out, right? So I think that's sort of the best I could speak on the programming end, and then the handling end is knowing that that's all taken care of, and then just trusting him and knowing that, like he said, if he puts something on the bar, he trusts me and I trust him. And I think that really, it's sort of the unspoken aspect of handling where you have to have that, because if I don't look confident and he doesn't feel confident, that's going to get magnified when you get on the platform.
Yeah, and I think, for me, obviously, like Gabriel's, I think he's probably going to be there again this year. So that was the Mexican champ who'd been 3-time world champ. He's very tough, big top end, big squat, good bench, good deadlift. But for me, like I try not to focus on my competition. Like I'll tell you, like the 2 years I won Open Nationals, I really don't think I was the strongest person there. I think what happened was when you're known to be really consistent, you put a lot of pressure on your competition because they know you're probably not going to miss a lot of lifts. And so you make them, they almost change their game plans because they worry about hitting a certain number by the end of squats or hitting a certain number by the end of bench. And what you see is people just get taken out of their game plan, whereas, we're like, it's like the tortoise and the hare. Like we're the tortoise, we're just going to be boring and go 6 for 6, 5 for 6 today, but we're going to hit our thirds on squat and bench, and then we'll look at the scoreboard when we get to deadlifts. Because really, like, what else can you do? I never forget one of the key things I ever heard was the first time I heard Matt Gary speak at a symposium, and he said, "What is the point of powerlifting?" It's like, okay. He's like, "To win. What is the best way to win? To hit as many lifts as possible. You do not get credit for weight left on the bar when you attempt something." And as simple as that is, I don't think that was the mindset of a lot of powerlifters back in the day. The idea was, well, if you went 9 for 9, you left, kilos in the tank. And it's like, well, maybe, but like, who cares because you don't get credit for the lifts you don't hit. So I think like that mind frame and just learning to take what was there on a day, and that really served me well, and especially at Worlds. Actually, Worlds in 2015 was the first time in my life I ever went 9 for 9. Like, it never had gone 9 for 9 before that. And then the following nationals, like, you always compare to previous. And I think that is does a disservice to a lot of powerlifters because they end up chasing numbers that they should hit. And at the end of the day, like, it's kind of like a box of chocolates. You don't really know what's going to be there on game day. Like, I mean, within a certain range, you know. Like, you're not pulling a 20 kilo PR out of nowhere. But, you know, within 7.5 kilos, you just got to be prepared to take what's there. And if it's not there on a given day, you know, like, again, like, I've had it where, you know, my squat wasn't there, but then the deadlift was there, you know, or the bench wasn't there, but then the squat and deadlift were there. And so I think, like, just, you know, if I had to speak to younger lifters, it's like, try not to get too hung up on what you did in the gym. Because, like, today, like, we were planning to hit a 280 squat. Like, that was, we felt very confident that was going to be there. But then, you know, missed the first squat. They were making me squat deeper than I felt like I needed to. But, I mean, that's how powerlifting goes. Made the adjustment, dropped it a little bit, and we took what was there. And I'm not upset about that. Like, at the end of the day, still got the kilos, still got the national title, and I think that's what's really important. So we're gonna all that to say, I don't think we're gonna change anything. We're gonna keep with our current strategy.
Yeah, I think at this level, it's a game of grams, just like in, you know, some other sports, a game of inches, and all of that really matters. And I think that, like Layne said, a lot of people get caught up in the emotions, and I think you can't get too high and too low, and he did a great job of that today. And you just have to do your best job to not, you know, emotion is sort of his job in that moment, and I feel like mine is more sort of logic. Because if I match him in emotion, I'm gonna be like the same thing I said before. Like, yeah, let's load up every red they have, and, you know, let's go for it. I don't have any Forrest Gump references like Layne had, but I'll leave it at that.
No, I think that's, you know, great points. And again, I think I always tell him, I'm like, he's got the hard job, right? Like, I just got to show up and do what I do every day in the gym. He's the one that's got to, like, play the mind games and think all the way through and all that kind of stuff. But I do think, like, for me, I really try to do my homework. I try to do the little things right. I mean, right down to, like, I'll walk out in the platform the day before or the morning of, and I'm like, where am I going to look when I squat? You know, I'll weigh in on the meat scale, and then I'll weigh in on my scale in the hotel room. What's the difference? Like, I just want to give myself every advantage I possibly can, because at the end of the day, that stuff may not win it for you, but it might. You know, the little things matter.
Across 9 attempts, and I think that was the other thing I was going to say as I was trailing off there, was if someone gives you a gap, you need to find a way to create a chasm from that. And I think that's sort of the art of coaching. And, you know, I have to give credit where it's due. Like, for me, the people who are top tier are Matt and Susie, and I think everybody is after them somewhere. And I think when you watch them handle, you get to see that in real time. And at best, we can do our best to kind of replicate, you know, sort of their playbook. And that's really, you know, today that was the application of that, is things from their playbook. Is, you know, even with the bench, you know, I actually said to Layne between second and thirds, is like, you know, we saw what he did. We made a bigger jump from first to second, and I told him the rationale for that is if he misses, we just narrowed the gap almost completely. Whereas originally he was, you know, Layne was kind of behind by like 15, 20 kilos. So those little tiny things can actually end up making an enormous difference in the long run.
So when looking at your third attempt deadlift, I see during it originally you guys put in about a 321 for your first attempt for your third deadlift. And I forget the exact number that Michael put in, but he did something, then you guys put in 325 and a half. Then Michael dropped back down to 312 and a half, and he missed that. And then you guys put in 315. Now, at the time, you had the opportunity to put in 312 and a half to tie him and win on body weight, because you had the higher lot number. So was that an intentional to put 315, or did that just kind of happen so fast that you didn't think about the lot number, you just went straight for the 2.5 kilo increase?
It was a timing element for sure. And knowing that there is, you know, you are on the clock, and like I said originally, I was very confident that he had 318, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity, assuming that he made. That's kind of why I just put in that with that time left. But that's a great question, and I think, you know, that is a great point of what I just said. It's almost like you throw back my statement back on me. Is, you know, someone else could potentially, Matt or Susie can actually, you know, see that and capitalize on that. So those little, I've made the quote before is like handling is like chess for meatheads. I think the better you are at chess and the better you can predict someone's moves a couple moves ahead, you can really make a big difference. And again, I will say I kind of worship at their altar. I think they are the best. And I think they probably would have put in quicker than me or probably did what you said. But I was very confident in him, especially what he was saying to me, that, he's put whatever on the bar. Yeah, knowing that I thought he had 3 more kills in the tank, I was pretty confident that we could put that in and we'd be good.
Yeah, and I think the one other thing I'll say is I probably was throwing a lot of numbers at Ben because, I wanted to make sure Michael pulled first. I didn't want to pull first. So that was the rationale behind taking up a pretty aggressive, what I would consider a placeholder. But if we needed to hit it, if I needed to hit it, I could hit it. And then at the end of the day, if I can't pull an extra 2.5 kilos out, I don't deserve to be national champion anyway. So.
All right, well, getting back to winning the national title back-to-back and going back to Worlds, Layne, just what does it mean to go back and defend your title that you won last year?
I'm so passionate about this stuff. I love the sport. I love the community. I mean, I told people at Worlds last year, I'm the fact that I could be here again is a miracle to me, with all the injuries and pain I went through and just so many times where I'd be in the gym, in tears because I'm just this isn't going to happen. I can't even, pull the bar without excruciating pain. So I told everybody at Worlds, I'm going to be the happiest guy on the platform no matter what happens on the World Championship. So, and I had said, I think maybe after I had some personal stuff going on, I'm maybe this is my last one, if I get this. And then, I had a week to think about it, and Ryan Lapadat texted me, and he's like, dude, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Make him take it from you. And I remember listening to Kim Walford on a podcast, and Ryan, I think, had asked her, would you ride off into the sunset if you broke the all-time record for world wins, or would you, and she didn't even let him finish. She goes, no, they're going to have to take it from me. They're going to have to take it from me. And I remember hearing that and going, that's kind of my more personality, because it's in sports, it's if you leave on top, well, you left too early, you're Barry Sanders. If you stay around 1 year too long, people go, oh, well, but at the end of the day, the way I measure this is I'm still passionate about it. I think everybody can see that. I'm still excited. I still get butterflies going into a big gym session. And so if all that stuff's still there, I'm just going to keep doing it as long as I can.
All right, awesome, Layne. Congratulations again on back-to-back titles, and we'll let you get out of here and go have some fun, and we'll look forward to seeing you out in Mongolia.
Hell yeah. Thank you all. Really appreciate it, and you guys doing a fantastic job with this stuff.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure, my friend.
That was awesome.
This is cool, man.
All right, we got the back-to-back 105 kilo national champion. How you feeling, Anthony McNaughton? Congratulations on your day.
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good. Came back at the end. I'm feeling good. Left on the high note, so we're good.
All right, well, throughout the day, you didn't seem too happy. So tell us, kind of walk us through the day and tell us, what you're looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, listen, there's just nothing to say about what happened, right? Obviously, I came to the meet with high hopes of executing, and that just didn't happen. But this sport is very cyclic, and I've come to learn that, right? So I'm consistently hitting this baseline that I need to. Obviously, the mental was a little lacking today, and that's kind of another lesson I learned today, right? Like, I had an issue in Worlds, and I bounced back. Today, same thing. I got down on myself. I came back on deads 3 out of 3, right? And I left with high spirits. I had a lot more in the tank, and that's what I needed. So just, again, being reminded of this resilience aspect of me, I'll take it, as frustrated as I was.
Anthony, great job. You know, at watching Worlds and seeing your performance today, that, you know, I know how much you dialed on your training, you know, so that was impressive to see you make the adjustments. I did have a question. Just what was going through your head as far as your third attempt deadlift? I know just recently at the Winter Classic you pulled in the area of 750. So I was just kind of wondering what the mindset was for the third attempt deadlift today.
Yeah, so that's a great question. Obviously, there was a lot left in the tank. I really just wanted to end the day nice. I wanted to end the day on a good note, on a high note. I wanted to have stuff in the tank, and I did that. Obviously, there was a lot more left in the tank, but we don't know how much. And honestly, I liked to have left it on that note. Again, like today I was getting banged up, right? And I just needed to leave on a high note. So that was my rationale. I took a little chip after my second attempt, and that was really it. But yeah, leaving on that high mental note is what I needed today ultimately. So that's what happened.
Well, great job. If you could just talk about maybe, like I said, I know you were dialed in. From what I've seen of your training since Worlds, if you could just maybe elaborate kind of on the leading up to Nationals, like just specifically the training leading up to Nationals since, say, the Winter Classic.
All right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a fantastic prep. I had a great prep. Yes, there were bumps in the road. I don't want to elaborate on what's going on in my outside life, but again, things happen, right? And opportunities come and arise, and you have to prioritize in your life at some point. And that's what I'm doing. I'm prioritizing, you know, the future for me. And long story short, I'm putting things in a list, you know, from A to C, and not saying that I put powerlifting on the back burner, but with what I need to happen right now, I have to put it on the back burner. I'm doing the best I can in both realms, and that's why I'm proud of myself that I came back and was resilient. The last few weeks of my prep was a super harsh turnaround. I definitely gained a nice solid, you know, I gained a nice movement during this prep, and I saw things. How do I explain this? I'm getting a little flustered because it's kind of frustrating to make such a good stride and then to take 3 steps back. But again, things happen, and I did the best that I could. And today wasn't a really bad day. You know, at the end of the day, this is a total that, looking back like a year ago at this time, I would have been like, you know what, that's awesome, right? Again, it's not where I need to be, but I'll take it, right? I'll take that resilient aspect of what came out today. So,
All right, Luke, the man that got Anthony into the sport. First of all, thank you very much for bringing this man into powerlifting. He's been a national treasure for us, so we're super happy to have him. You've seen him evolve over the years. And so do you just want to kind of talk about the changes that you've seen in Anthony over the years and like the man that he is today versus when you first saw him in the gym and saw that promise that he had?
Yeah, so I met him. I saw him around in our college gym when I was a senior. You were like, what, a freshman?
freshman.
And he was a big kid. Like, we never knew each other on a first name basis. And he came up to me. He's like, "Yo, you're Luke Graham, right?" And like, I was big into powerlifting back then. And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I want to get into powerlifting. Would you help me get into it?" And I was like, "Sure, dude." And I was looking back on his lifts. Like, you were the first video I saw was you were squatting 500 in like bodybuilding reps, super high, at like 45-degree angle. I'm like, okay, we got something to work with. but he's a big dude. Like he was bodybuilding back when he was in high school, and I was like, let's take the challenge on. And he adapted so quick. Like I'm pretty sure you signed up for a meet like what, 3 months after that?
Not even
that meet in Niagara Falls. That was like
it was 3 months after we started. I signed up for it and kind of just dumped it on you that I was doing.
And I was like, all right, let's do it, man. And what'd you put up, like 1,600? 15 something.
I think it was like 1562 or something like that.
Yeah, and like for a first meet, that's crazy, right? Like I knew he had a lot of talent right from the get-go, and then he just adapted super quick to everything I threw at him, and I knew he had a lot of potential. But like when I was getting ready to leave for the military, I had to stop coaching, and I turned him over to John Song, and that's when everything like took hold. Like he's not stopping. Like there's nothing stopping him. He's always growing, always getting stronger. So the sky's the limit for him.
Of course. All right, then Anthony, just looking forward, what's your next goal, and what's the plan for Worlds?
Just to bring my best. I have nothing to say other than that. I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna bring my best. I don't know what my best is gonna be. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm gonna bring my best. And obviously, last year was a tough blow, right? Again, I haven't looked back on it. I would have rather had this day today as opposed to Worlds. Now I have a sense of what I need to do, how I need to adjust to this new, style of life I'm living, and that's it. It's just been a learning curve since Worlds, and I know at the end of the day what I'm capable of. And it's gonna come out when it needs to come out. It's there. It's just I gotta tap into that, and I gotta pull it out of myself. And again, like powerlifting is cyclic, right? It's just up and down, and lately it's been probably down, on the downward trend. But at the same time, being able to do what I could, at least to myself, like I don't care what other people think, but I proved to myself time and time again that I could do it. Like people are like, okay, I do this and this and this, and powerlifting is just kind of like I can't bring it to that next level. But I proved to myself that I do this and this and this, what everyone else is doing, and I could still show up, and people could tell me this or that, how it's going to go either this way or this way, but I'll always make it plan C. I'll always take it my way. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just kind of where my rationale is at.
Of course, man. Well, we have all the faith and confidence in the world in you, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Romania next.
Yeah, that's gonna be something.
All right, man. All right, no more questions. All right, we'll let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations again, Anthony.
Thank you, Paul.
Where to even start with you, Mike? First of all, congratulations. You're the M1 83 kilo national champion. How does that feel?
It feels amazing. Did it last year, and I was really excited to try and run it back, and got it done. It was a little scary.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to hold on for the win, but it worked out.
And you're just fresh off winning a world championship, a bench press world championship, bench press world record. And so just give us a little recap of what the last 2 weeks of your life has been like.
I left for South Africa on May 16th, spent 10 days there or so. I got back home on Monday night, spent 2 days at home, Tuesday and Wednesday, and got here on Thursday. The travel's been tough, but
yeah,
we got through it.
Yeah.
Fatigue definitely started to catch up with me on deadlifts today, though. I knew that if there was a lift that it would actually catch up with me on, it would be deadlifts. Yeah. And after my second, I knew there was not a lot left there. So we adjusted our numbers and tried to take a small jump.
Yeah.
just to pad the lead.
So yeah, just take us through the day today. I mean, you've now battled with Lauren, I don't even know how many times, like 3 times in the last 12 months, something like that?
3 times.
So yeah, how is it going against him, and just how did the day unfold?
Last year at Nationals, I was able to win pretty comfortably, and did not see him coming at Worlds in Canada. And he caught me off guard, pulled for the win, got it. I was pretty disappointed, but I was looking forward to a rematch. I was both happy, excited, and a little bit nervous when I saw his name on the roster again this year for Nationals. But I was looking forward to the challenge. Coming into it, I knew that I would have the lowest deadlift out of the 3 or 4 of us that were kind of grouped together. So the goal was to just make lifts, build the subtotal, and try and hold on at the end with deadlifts. And I knew that I couldn't afford to miss, or else I was not going to win. So I was talking to Arian, who was handling me today, and we actually brought my third squat down 2.5 kilos just to guarantee that I would get a third in, because we knew that if I missed, it would open the door way too wide for Lauren. He missed his second attempt squat, and we thought that maybe that would have given me the cushion that I needed, and he still ended up loading his third deadlift for the win, and did not get it, fortunately.
With having done so many meets recently, could you just kind of elaborate on your training, kind of leading up to all the meets and specifically this one?
I didn't peak too hard for bench nationals in January. It kind of showed in the results because I missed 200 there, I believe. But I just wanted to do the meet and qualify for bench worlds. I peaked pretty well for Austin Open Nationals, and I trained really hard for that one. Did pretty well. And after Austin, I was just trying to maintain. I knew doing so many meets in a row, there was no way I was going to actually make too much progress. So I just wanted to maintain. I actually really only had, after bench worlds, I only had 2 real training sessions, but apparently it was enough to keep me somewhat strong.
Mike, just seeing you in the warm-up room and especially on the platform, you're very cool, calm, and collected, always smiling. How do you get fired up beforehand? Do you listen to a specific song that fires you up, or do you just fight those demons before you get on the platform? I mean, what really gets you fired up to get out there and bench your butt off?
I have a lifting playlist, but honestly, it just plays, and I'm kind of zoned out. I'm not even paying attention to what song is playing at that moment.
Would you say you perform better cool, calm, and collected as opposed to a rage monster?
I like to build a little bit of adrenaline and get myself hyped up, but something I learned from LS McLean is just having fun. Just go out there, have fun, and usually it'll work itself out. Like, you don't have to be super fired up all the time. And so that's why you'll see me smiling on the platform now, and when I go out for bench, I'll fist bump the spotters or whoever's giving me the lift off. Let's have some fun.
Right. Any final questions?
All right, Mike. What's the plan for tomorrow?
I'll be spotting and loading the equip session all day long.
Of course, man. I mean, you're just one of the nicest guys. You give back to the sport. You'll lift and then spot and load in the same session. And just want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart for everything that you do.
No problem. I just want to give back to the sport as much as I can. Yeah. I appreciate Keller, Mike Z, everybody putting this federation together, because it's given me the opportunity to do all these international meets, and I'm actually very thankful for that.
Yeah,
just living the dream.
We're thankful for having you here, man, and looking forward to seeing you get that Open World Championship or M1 World Championship this year. So
looking forward
over
to
in Mongolia. So all right, man. Thank you. Have a good day tomorrow. Get some sleep.
He plays guitar too.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he does.
All right, we've got the 93 kilo junior national champion, Shane Nutt, back-to-back national champion. Congratulations on your performance today, and also his game day coach, Chloe Dublin. Shane, first and foremost, congrats. And why don't you just tell us how this day unfolded for you?
Thank you so much. Well, training has been going it's just phenomenal ever since I left Worlds last year in Istanbul. And, everything was trending upwards for PR totals. And I had some execution problems going on, previous to this meet towards the end. And I really, changed up training a lot. And it really reflected today. I've definitely improved on a lot of things that I thought were weaknesses. For squat, the 672 or 305, I had a couple kilos left in me, and I knew I was going to hit that as soon as, like I said earlier, as soon as I hit my last warm-up. Bench felt phenomenal. I had left some there too, and with 392 or 396, that was a PR, which was awesome. I don't do that a whole lot in comp. And then with deadlift, I just kind of let my coach, basically pick whatever I have to do to win, and because I can't be doing any of those numbers or anything like that. So that's where Chloe comes in, and she does a dang good job. So.
All right, well then let's turn it over to Chloe. What was the strategy there at the end of the competition? Because you found yourself in a battle with this guy, Peyton Johnson. Mm-hmm. Peyton Johnson, who's a fabulous competitor and really showed out today. So Chloe, what was the strategy in those final attempts on deadlift to secure the dub for Shane?
So we just kind of went based off of attempts, based off of how he was performing previously, and just kind of seeing what his attempts were looking like every time. But I think the major key was just keeping Shane on his path and sticking with the game plan, and then at the end, just kind of pulling what numbers we had to in order to put ourselves in the best position to win, and that's exactly what we did.
So just to follow up on that, were you trying to overextend Peyton and just, not really need Shane's third deadlift, or was that the plan, or did you think he was going to go out there and get that, or what?
We finished nicely on the second, and I was watching Peyton's deadlifts and kind of knew what I thought that he could hit, so we were seeing if he wanted to pick his number, and that's kind of what he did. So, yeah.
So you knew that he wasn't going to get it?
A coach never shares her secrets. I was really impressed with how far he got it up. I will say that.
That was too.
Yeah, he's a strong dude, but I was not anticipating him to get it. But I also didn't need Shane to get it because we already had position on the second.
So we just got position on second, and that's what we wanted to do, and make him shoot for a third. And he shot.
He shot darn good.
He did.
Shane, congratulations. So I know you're very much you kind of worry about what your performance, and don't necessarily let the competition dictate your performance. Obviously, you're calling numbers on deadlift when to get the win. When did you kind of notice Peyton, and how did that affect your mindset, or did it?
Nope. No, I'm just a veteran, man. I just they're gonna do what they want to do, and then I'm gonna try to, if you put 300, I'm gonna put 302 and a half. We're just gonna make sure we win on every single pull, and I know I have a really, really strong pull, and the potential is always really high. So towards the end of the meet, I had all that momentum going up, 6 for 6. I was just like, let's throw it away, So that's my mindset going into every single meet, and it has been for a while. So, and it works pretty well.
I know you've made some changes after Worlds to your training, and you said you really like the results.
Yep.
Do you kind of plan to stick with that leading up to Worlds again?
Yeah, I had a little hiccup the last 5 weeks when we talked about that. But, yeah, I had a little hiccup kind of with everything that I was putting together, and I kind of went against my gut, and it really backfired. But I was able to put something together towards the end and really have faith in myself. But yeah, I'm gonna make a little bit more fine tuning for Worlds, and you know, I'm gonna have to be able to pull in that 340, 360 range if I want to win something. I'm pretty sure. So
Shane runs his own programming, and he's also not afraid of experimenting. So he can come out really well or have to do some, mad scientist stuff in the middle to make up for some things. But it's really cool because lots of people, once they find what works for them, they just stick exactly to that until they run out of gas with it. But he'll experiment until the end of time, which I think is one of the things that makes him really good.
Yeah, shout out Nutt Strength Systems on Instagram. But Shane, just tell us, last year at Worlds, you left a bad taste in your mouth.
Oh, absolutely.
And then just tell us, what it means to go back and, get that taste out of your mouth.
It's my last year before I go and play with the big dogs. So, I mean, we're getting married next month. So we got a really, really busy, next couple months leading up, and I'm gonna have to tap in if I really want to do what I want to do, and that's win. So.
All right. Well, congratulations on your win. Congratulations on your marriage next month in advance.
Woo!
And
Thanks.
we'll look forward to seeing you head to Romania and try and get that gold medal.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.